Hi guys, it's Barry Drennan, Fairbairn Protocol H2H. Recently I did a post on Facebook where I explained that I had been looking at Fairbairn methodology for a while, and there was a couple of attributes that came up in there that I wanted to look at closer and try to understand. So what I'm speaking to specifically is that when we go through gutter fighting, and we often go to those familiar resources of All In Fighting or Get Tough, or now they have the video out that came from the gutter fighting films. We got to see Fairbairn doing works there. Got a different insight on how he did some of the things. But a lot of it is also a matter of experience and how you got to there as well. So for the last 42 years, I've been looking and analyzing the Fairbairn methodology, this gutter fighting World II Fairbairn methodology, as opposed to Defendu or scientific self-defense. Thank you very much. Now the concept that I did was I said to myself, okay, I'm going to present myself with a series of problems. Now I had to solve the problems using only Fairbairn methodology. So if a guy grabbed your hand, then, well, according to Fairbairn, you could do a release, or you could chop the arm, striking the radial nerve, something like that, you know. But always kept within the vocabulary, within the repertoire of that World War II Fairbairn methodology. When we got to the synopsis of the syllabus, of his courses, we often found another thing that was strange. We often found elbows involved in it, and also what they call boxing. Now, this is interesting in itself because Fairbairn openly advocated not using a closed hand. But we also know that he advocated doing what works. Now, doing what works didn't necessarily become part of the system, but in some cases, they were applied to particular things, it seems. So, the exploration that I did over time was, as I say, trying to solve these problems. And then now, in the recent period, I've been trying to solve those problems, and there's gaps. There's gaps that come into it. There are certain situations you get into that the standard Fairbairn methodology is not the best. So let's call it that for the moment, because you'll explain as we go through them. So today what I'm going to look at is we're going to look at the use of elbows. Now, everybody knows the big elbow from the front and the powerful elbow from the back, all head hunting stuff. In those type of situations, under the title of pure Fairbairn methodology, I dismiss that because there's always something I could do better, in my opinion, than that thing. For example, if I come into it from the side here, and I give the big elbow from here, well, I could definitely come in here with that concept of edge of hand, edge of hand, edge of hand, chin jab, all in that same ring. Now, if my arm is stuck over on this side, I can definitely chop. So the elbow from here. Now, for elbow from the front, same thing. Elbow from the front, I mean, I can yoke him, I can choke him, I can chin jab. There's a lot of things that come into it, you know? And so, again, knees, there's lots of opportunity because we're not barred to use only the upper body in any circumstance. So I can solve things with other complications that I can bring forward, you know? Complications as a knee and a groin is a pretty good complication for somebody. But uniquely, there's a few spots that came out, and they're only a very handful. So I'm not going to bring some big revelation to the world of Fairbairn here. It's just an interesting development that I want to bring to people's attention, and with regard to those syllabuses and why they included those, perhaps. Because nobody really knows. We don't get to talk to the people that actually taught the program. So, one thing is that when we're in very close proximity in this position type of thing, okay, I cannot get my arm back. If I cannot get my arm back, then I cannot do any kind of chop. I can't do any kind of edge. Now, if I move out just a little bit, I can deliver powerful edge of hand blows, slaps to the ear, other opportunities. You know, I can get inside here, I can bring my hands up through the center. But if I'm too close, I can't do anything. Now, of course, I can go down to the shin scrapes, things like that. But again, now, anytime that you start lifting a foot off your ground, you got to be thinking whether you're being shoved about, manhandled, whether there's a problem with the surface, if there's icy surfaces or slippery surfaces or wet ceramic stone. I mean, there's lots of things that come into maintaining balance and compatibility based on your balance. So this is an important factor. So that's where we come back up the body again and start using up technique when we're completely working on stabilization down below. So These elbow types that you see here, boom, coming in like this, they're great when you're inside like this. They're really, really great. So I can see Fairbairn doing an emphasis on that. It would be practical. It'd be fitting into all the methodologies and philosophies that go with the Fairbairn system. You know, efficient, quick, spontaneous, brutal, you know, they work. And they work in a flow. Strike, a little bit of space, you know, so that methodology works. As I stated before, I have complications with the other ones. I can move things in there that don't have the same thing, but I'd rather, instead of this, I'd rather this if I could, but if I'm too close, it's the only opportunity because I can't bring it around. I don't have to be contorted. If I become contorted, what happens then is I start losing my balance again because we start bringing the upper body out over the feet. So these things are very practical in terms of maintaining balance and stuff. Then we have opportunity. But I found that only with those particular ones. Listen, thank you very much for your patience with me. We worked through this, and maybe as consideration, I'll be looking forward to a lot of feedback. I'm sure we're going to get feedback. I really want it. It's going to be great. Okay? Thank you very much, guys. And like I say, beforehand, those of you who are going to be feeding back good, solid stuff here, thank you for your time. I grow from you. You guys have a great day.